2019. What a year. It's so important that you measure your life in decades, because if you measure it in the years, you might lose track of where you're heading. My name is Danielle Jeffers. I'm the founder of Dough for Degrees, LLC. Dough for Degrees is a scholarship coaching company where I teach students how to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free. I graduated debt-free from Virginia Tech on May 17th of 2019, having earned more than $200,000 in scholarships. And 2019 was so amazing, but it was also so trying. And so let me tell you exactly what I learned in 2019. Alright, so if you watch our Sunday lives, our community scholarship chats, and you know we go live on Dough for Degrees YouTube channel every single Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And one of the last community scholarship chats for Dough for Degrees, I did a reflection video. We spent the 30 minutes really reflecting on Dough for Degrees progress in 2019. So I'll link that in the description box below. But as the founder of Dough for Degrees and as a person, because Dough for Degrees is an entity, it's a business, but that's not me. I have my own beliefs, my own core values. I have a system and a way I live my life. And so I wanted to bring to the channel an opportunity to reflect publicly, to maybe give some insight to some students or parents, anyone who watches the channel, on some things I learned in 2019 as a person, as Danielle. What did I learn in 2019? So the description where I dropped the link about the community scholarship chat, you can watch that to figure out what happened for Dough for Degrees in 2019. But these are some lessons I learned. Lesson number 1, I have them written on a piece of paper, y'all. Lesson number 1, TTP, trust the process. I'm a spiritual person. My faith is extremely important to me. I'm a Christian. And one thing I've realized is that sometimes you just have to completely trust the process. Trust wherever God's taking you. There's a scripture in Proverbs that says, commit your plans to the Lord and He will establish your steps. And so I really had to trust the process. It took me 5 years to graduate debt-free, and that was an example of trusting the process, doing the work, knowing that there aren't any guarantees when you apply for scholarships. It's literally trial and error. You do your best and you hope to win, but there aren't any guarantees that you really will win the scholarships you're seeking to win. And so the number 1 lesson I learned was to trust the process. Just do your work every day. Your work will speak for itself. Number 2, trust God, lean not on your own understanding. 2019 was really my Abraham year. If you read the Bible, then you know God asked Abraham to leave everything he knew, to leave his father's house and go to the land He would show him. That was 2019 for me. I graduated from Virginia Tech, and from January up until the time I graduated in May, I was on co-op, which basically means I worked for my company for myself. I still had standing as a student on campus. I had a dorm room. I lived in my dorm room all 4 years. Well, I lived in 2 different dorm rooms while I was a student at Virginia Tech, but I did live on campus all 4 years. I had a place to stay on campus, but being on campus after I finished the requirements for my degree in December of 2018 felt extremely uncomfortable. I felt out of place. A place that I knew to be home, a place that I was extremely comfortable in, no longer felt comfortable. And I could feel that it was God nudging me to go further, to begin to place my feet in a new territory, to go to the land He would show me. And so instead of returning back home to my hometown of Danville, Virginia, I followed God's ask of me. I was obedient and I moved to Woodbridge, Virginia. I packed up everything I owned in a U-Haul. I had never driven a U-Haul before. And the day after I graduated, on May 17th, May 18th that morning, I drove a U-Haul 4 hours north to my first apartment ever in Woodbridge, Virginia. So it was to trust God and lean not onto my own understanding. That was number 2. Number 3, walk by faith and not by sight. If you've been following this channel, then you know in 2019, as soon as I graduated, literally the month after I graduated, on June 25th, we announced the In My Bag tour. I partnered with 2 of my best friends, Corey Actor Green and Kevin Stevenson. You can probably see them on the board right here, but if not, I'll insert a picture. We are Virginia Tech graduates. Kevin graduated in 2019 with me, with his BS in building construction, his Bachelor of Science in building construction, and Corey graduated from Virginia Tech in 2017 with his Bachelor in Economics, Bachelor's degree in Economics. I believe it's Economics. Anyway, and so we had a desire to get back to our hometowns. And we didn't know each other at the beginning of 2019, but we really connected, and we decided that we would take on this project in April. Now, Kevin and I were still in school when we started planning for the tour. Our goal was to get back to our hometowns and give at least 500 book bags filled with school supplies and 200 teacher appreciation gifts between my hometown of Danville, Virginia, and Corey's hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And when we announced that tour in June, I knew this was going to be a complete test of my faith, because I moved to Woodbridge out of obedience to God. And the 6 months prior to that move, I heard the Holy Spirit say to me, obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And that's actually in the Bible in 1 Samuel 15:22. And I kept just hearing that. And I never really heard that phrase before in my life. I read the Bible cover to cover in 2018, but I didn't know, that didn't stand out to me until the Holy Spirit really spoke to me and said obedience is better than sacrifice. And the timing of the In My Bag tour was so interesting, because by the time I got to Woodbridge and paid the deposit for my rent, paid my U-Haul and all that stuff, I had $10 to my name. I'm being completely honest. I was completely walking by faith and just, man, like, God, if you ask me to build this company, if you ask me to do this, I'm going to do it. Because wherever there's vision, wherever God gives you a vision to go, there's also provision. And so I said, I'm going to be obedient. And we're doing the In My Bag tour, and then it hits me. I'm like, how am I going to pay my rent? I do Dough for Degrees full time, which means I still need to make sales. And now I'm supposed to be giving back to students and teachers in Philadelphia and Danville. And Dough for Degrees isn't on autopilot. It isn't to the point yet where I'm just waking up in the morning and I brought in $10,000 in sales. It's not there yet. So I still have to put in hours, at least 100 hours a week, to pay my bills. God, what are you asking me to do? You know, I just stepped into a position of walking by faith. And every time I would be like, am I supposed to be doing this right now? The money for my rent would come out of nowhere. Just come out of nowhere. That whole time we were doing the tour. We ended the tour in August. September, my rent money came. Now, October, November, and December, the fourth quarter of 2019, I literally almost threw in the towel. And this is why I say walk by faith and not by sight, because everything went dry. No sales. Like, I think I may have 1 or 2 sales, but everything went dry. And so I really dealt with the pressure of being a full-time entrepreneur and not knowing where your money is going to come from to eat. But when I tell you, there is so much power in walking by faith, because when you walk by faith and you're being obedient to God, you gain this peace that surpasses all understanding. And the whole time I was in the middle of that storm, in the middle of not knowing where I was going to get money from to put gas in my car, to pay my rent, or all that stuff, I had this peace that everything would be okay, despite what it looked like on paper, despite what my bank account status looked like, despite all those things. I had this peace that everything was going to be just fine. And so walk by faith and not by sight. Number 4, the power of forgiveness and reconciliation. Live and let go. A lot of things I've mentioned on this channel, not in great detail, but a lot of things have happened in my personal life, in the last 3 years, 2017, 2018, 2019. And I had to make some tough decisions in whether I would forgive some people who I've known all my life, who I love very dearly, and reconcile. Because there's a difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. You may forgive someone and allow the bitterness and hatred and pent-up anger and aggression you have toward that person to let it go. And just forgive them, not hold any grudges, not harbor any resentment. You may let it go. But to reconcile and to repair that relationship and start afresh, start anew, that's different. And so I had reached the point of forgiveness with a lot of my relationships, but I hadn't reconciled them. I was just like, I'm just going to keep my distance. And I do acknowledge some things I could have done differently. I do accept the fact that, hey, I made some bad decisions. I should have moved differently. I could have acted a better way. I could have been a better friend or what have you, boom, boom, boom. And so I decided I'm going to reconcile. Now I'm not perfect. I'm not shooting this video to tell you that I'm perfect, because I tell you all the time, the mindset is progress, not perfection. You'll never be perfect in anything in life, but you should always seek to make progress. But I'm shooting this to be honest and transparent with you and let you know that life is literally about learning lessons and using those lessons in the next challenge and the next level of life. And so forgiveness and reconciliation. Reconciliation, if you reconcile a relationship or you make that decision to do that, that is a sign of maturity and growth. So I'm just going to leave that right there. Number 5, focus on the quality of your service, not the quantity of your money. Oh my gosh, this was a turning point lesson for me. I learned this lesson right in the middle of my financial struggles, October to December of 2019. Focus on the quality of your service, not the quantity of your money. Because when you don't have money to pay your bills, you're getting calls all the time and you're getting notices, you focus on the fact that you don't have money and you need to get money. Like, that is the focus. Like, God, you asked me to do this, now where the duckies, where the dollars to pay for all these bills that are coming in? Like, help me, Jesus, help me. But when it's hit me, I'm like, when we were doing the tour and I was focused on the people, God provided the money. The money always came through when we focused on the people. But now I'm in a bind financially and I need money to pay my bills. I'm still focusing on my clients, but every time I wake up, I'm thinking about what's due, what's overdue, what's past due, what's delinquent, all these things. And I was like, I need to focus on the people again. And God is his timing is so perfect and majestic, because I was on the phone with my mother. And as soon as I said that, and it hit me, I'm like, that's the thing I need to learn. God is sending this storm so that I can learn this lesson. When that went from my mind to my heart, and I felt the transition in my spirit when I was like, oh, I got to focus on the quality of my service, not the quantity of my money. When that transferred from my mind to my heart, which my heart is the source of all my intentions, oh my gosh, within 10 minutes, a request for a nice figure speaking engagement came through. And so his timing is so perfect, so majestic. Number 6, it takes time. It means everything. Everything takes time. I can be impatient sometimes when I think about Dough for Degrees and all the things I want to do, the progress I want to make. And these products I've been working on the same product for the last 4 years. The Scholarship Success Program, and I'm getting closer and closer to getting it to where I want it to be. But it takes time. It is a process that requires progress. And so I'll just say that it takes time. Everything takes time. Number 7, when you find or sense peace, be still. When God gives you this peace that surpasses all understanding, be still. Because when I really struggled financially from October to December, a lot of people were telling me to go get a job. I started asking myself, do I need to go get a job? And I was praying to God, like, God, if you want me to go get a job, I'll go get a job, if that's what you want me to do. But he was like, no, be still and allow me to provide for you. Now, I'm not going to sit here in front and act like it wasn't scary. It was extremely scary, because there were times where I'm like, yo, this is about to end today. Like, I'm about to lose this today. This is about to go out the window today, and because I don't have the money to pay for it. And all of a sudden, the day of or the day before, it would come through out of nowhere. And so when you have this peace that surpasses all understanding, listen to the voice of God, his still voice, and be still. Okay? Number 8, remain humble and pure in your thoughts, actions, intentions, etc. When you fully commit yourself to God and doing what he asks you to do, you will have to be a vessel that is open to being used. You will have to be willing to be used by God. And so if he's going to use you, you got to stay pure, stay honest, transparent, vulnerable, and be humble. Humility comes before honor. Pride comes before the fall. Stay humble. The meek shall inherit the earth, and let God do his work. You just do your work, and then he'll do the rest. Number 9, everybody can't go, and everyone won't understand. Sometimes God will ask you to do some things that make no sense, like do a back to school giveaway tour in your hometown with 2 of your best friends in your 20s. I'm 22, Kevin's 23, Corey's 25. Touch more than 700 people when you don't have the money to pay your rent. Do that. Do what I asked you to do. Just do it. Everybody can't go with you. Some people will be like, well, why are you doing that? You know, you need to work. You should work. Boom. This is the work I'm supposed to be doing right now. This is what God asked me to do. I'd rather be obedient than to sacrifice my blessing. Because I also understand the principle of giving, the importance of giving it to others as a Christian. And everybody can't go with you. Romans, that's one of the first scriptures I studied when I got up here to Whitbridge, was Romans 12. Just allowing just presenting my body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God. That's my true and proper worship. And just allowing myself to fully commit to walking by faith. Fully commit to walking by faith. And no longer giving into my fears, no longer giving into my doubts, but just solely focus on just taking this faith walk day by day. Everybody can't go with you because some people haven't done what you're getting ready to do. Or some people haven't done what you're doing. And so they don't have the foresight or the insight or the vision to support you in this moment. But you have to be willing to go against all odds, to step outside of your comfort zone, and to go where you've never been to get something you've never had. And so number 10, do something that will outlive you. Legacy is extremely important to me. I believe, I read this quote when I was 12, and it changed my whole perspective on life and everything. But it said, on your epitaph or your headstone, there will be 2 dates, the day you were born and the day you die. But the most important thing on your epitaph will be that dash. What did you do in the middle, from the day you were born until the day you died? And so I've always been a person who's thought about the long-term game, if what I'm doing right now will outlive me, because I believe the physical life of a person from their birth date to the death date is beautiful. But when they die, they transition and another life begins, their legacy. The legacy of someone is what they're known for after they leave this earth. And so I just want to do something that outlives me, and hopefully by teaching students how to graduate debt-free, earn scholarships, and all the other things that come with this process of being an educator and a teacher and someone who's writing and being transparent and vulnerable about my life and my process, it will allow people to live their life and live it in abundance. Live above what the status quo is. Live above what your expectation is of what life should be. I hope God would just pour supernatural blessings on you that surpasses all of your understanding. And I have 2 bonus things I learned, because I said I was going to do 10, but I threw some bonus ones in. Number 11 says, grow through it, go through it. People always say, well, you just got to go through this right now. You just need it's a storm, it's going to pass. You just need to focus on going through it and just no. Grow through it. Go through what you're going through, but remember, grow through it. Mature spiritually, mature personally, mature professionally, mature and be a better mother, be a better daughter, be a better aunt, be a better cousin. Like, grow through it. Become better and stronger. Become more sure of yourself in this process. Grow through it. Don't just go through it, because if you miss the lessons you could have learned in that moment, then you may continue to make the same mistakes until you learn to make better choices and make better decisions, because your habits dictate your altitude. You'll only go as far as you allow yourself to go, and that's heavily influenced by your habits, what you naturally do subconsciously and consciously, and what you tend to lean toward, and why you make certain decisions. So grow through your circumstance situations. Don't just go through them. Bonus number 2, number 12, God knows what you need, whether that be friends, resources, love, family, support, whatever, and He'll supply all your needs. Kevin and Corey were 2 of the biggest blessings in my life in 2019, because I've always been a person who has valued intimate friendships, not intimate meaning sex, but like these deep friendships. I don't like surface level stuff. I'm not a big fan of small talk. I crave and yearn for deep, like, connected, a sense of connectedness and all this stuff. I don't even know if that's a word. Anyway, and so that type of bond, that type of relationship means a lot to me. I hold it very near and dear to my heart, and I try my best not to disrespect it, because those don't come frequently. They're like those lifetime relationships. So I know we've known each other since we were 10 or something like that, and so I'm not expecting that from everyone. I don't go out and seek that. I allow it to come to me, and so God will supply all your needs. And I needed a new group of friends. I needed some people who I could grow with. And so it's been beautiful so far. I hope it is beautiful going forward. Thank y'all for watching this video. These are some things I learned in 2019. I don't think it would be fair for me to continue to give you all this content and to give you all this knowledge about how to graduate debt free and not allow you to see my humanity, not allow you to see me as a person. Because if that's what you want, the scholarship knowledge, hey, do what works for you. But if you want to know that life is more than just about money, or just about what you can get, but it's also about what you can give, you might want to check out the Over series on our channel, my playlist, Danielle's favorites. Definitely join our community scholarship chats on Sundays when I go live at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those are some of the moments where I'm the most candid and very honest and transparent about what happened throughout that week and what we're doing moving forward. But this video is a personal reflection on a public platform because I know that sometimes you just need to connect with people on a deeper level than just what they can provide. So I don't even know if I want you to drop a comment. I don't even know what to say. But I love you. I'll see you soon.